She started sketching when she was just a child, but today, artist Janie Mantooth has a variety of artistic skills under her belt. And Janie, thank you so much for being here today. I love your work. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, as I said, you started sketching when you were just a little bitty thing.
Yes.
What got you sketching?
I think it was the influence of my father, who was also a very good sketch artist. And just seeing his work and really appreciating that from that time I was 5 or 6 years old just came very naturally to me.
So it really has been a lifetime endeavor that you've got going here.
That's true. It has, yes.
Well, you've transitioned a little bit. You now have watercolor and pottery and photography, stained glass. I mean, we could go on. Let's talk specifically about some of the mediums. I love the watercolor you have going here. What is your method for that?
Thank you. I use they call it wet on wet technique with the watercolor, where you put a lot of water into the paper and then you put your color down, your watercolor colors down, and they usually spread quite a bit. And so it's a very spontaneous and serendipitous process.
Now, I like this particular one. It's very calming, very soothing, the colors. What's your inspiration? Are you more into nature? Where do you get inspired?
I think probably nature is one of my big influences. I love flowers. I love gardening. So, of course, flowers are one of the subjects that come very naturally to me when I do my artwork.
Well, and speaking of nature, then now I look at your pottery and I see very earthy kinds of colors and patterns. Talk about that.
Yes. I've been doing pottery now for about 30 years. That's when I took my first lesson, was about 30 years ago. And I have a very creative mind, so some of the designs I do with pottery are just out of my head. There's things that just come to me as far as imagination and a very creative process that I go through in coming up with the designs.
I like that they have a little bit of a primitive feel to them as well. I think that's what attracts me to those.
Thank you. Yes, they do. I have usually very simple designs. They're not incredibly complex, and I like to do colors that come from the earth. But I also enjoy adding some metallic colors. There's gold, and there's also a silver type metallic that I like to put on as accents in many of my pieces.
Moving on then to photography, you have obviously traveled the world, and you kind of get your inspiration from places that you travel to.
Yes, that's true. In a trip to Europe several years ago, I saw a lot of beautiful artwork. You see a lot of beautiful architecture, right. And so it's also worked into my my photography and getting some of the most beautiful scenes that were available there to capture.
Now, something that we don't have here to show, but I can only imagine how beautiful, the stained glass. I know that you do commission work, you can do sort of customized work, but you also have some stained glass in some of the places in the region.
I do, that's true. I've done windows for some homes here in the Bedford area, in Smith Mountain Lake area. There's a couple of pieces over in Sedalia in some homes. And I just design with the homeowner to the type of design they're looking for, and we arrive at a price for that, and so it can be made to fit a specific spot in your home.
And again, you do take commission, so we'll give that information here in just a second, but you also have, you show at different galleries throughout the region. Where can people find your work?
I do have a studio at the Bauer Center for the Arts in Bedford. And I have work at the Art of Virginia, which is a new gallery that's just opened on Main Street in Bedford. Mm-hmm. And then there's a place that's called the Artisan Cafe in Bedford that's also where I have some of my work right now.
Okay, so you're pretty much all over the place, and I can certainly see why. You have beautiful work, lots of great things. And again, for anyone who might be interested in having you do something for their home or their business, here's the contact information, their phone number there, and of course your email, as well as you're on Facebook, which I think is very important and very helpful for artists. But thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
We'll be right back.